Hi everyone, Sue Matsuki. Once again, Nightlife Exchange, Sue's Muse, and today I have the beautiful
Cool.
Raissa Katona Bennett. Thank you. I'm so
Hi,
happy
honey.
to have you, my dear friend. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thanks for having me.
So now this lady is a Broadway star, an extraordinary singer, a recording artist. She's a champion for puppies around the world and, sports adoption of animals. There's nothing that she won't do or can't do. But today I brought her here specifically to talk about her involvement as the cabaret liaison with the Musical Theatre of Connecticut, which is up in Norwalk, because she has curated kind of like a beautiful season. And I'm actually going to put that graphic up because it's going to make it
Mm.
easier for us to talk about
Oh, yeah.
of talent. And okay, disclaimer, you'll see that I'm also in this series and I'm not doing this for that purpose. I'm doing this because I love the Musical Theater of Connecticut and we need to fill these rooms because look at this lineup, people. I'm honored to be on this lineup. So tell me a little bit about how you curated this and a little bit about the Musical Theater of Connecticut.
Well, the Music Theatre of Connecticut is a small equity theater here in Norwalk, Connecticut, and I'm always trying to support them because it's one of the few places that those of us that are union, that have done, excuse me, Broadway shows and film and TV can work and still be in accordance with our union rules.
Mhm.
They also have a great educational outreach, a great community outreach. They have a wonderful Pride event going on right now. So we like to support them and see what we can do. And from a selfish point of view, selfish, I'm saying for me and other Broadway and cabaret artists, it's one of the few places that we can still do a wonderful cabaret show, and people don't have to worry about fulfilling a 2 drink minimum or whatever. You're just paying your ticket price up front and personal with the artist. There is a bar there, which is great. It's always good because, the more you drink, the better I sound. But Kevin Connors, who's the artistic director, wanted to start a cabaret series at the Music Theatre of Connecticut. I can't remember how many years it's been going on now. I'm going to say at least 6 or 7.
It's got to be because I've done it like two times and then I've gone and been a guest star and you and I were a guest star in David Mayoko's Liberace show one year.
Right,
So
right.
it's been going on for a while, yeah.
Yeah, and I've done it at least 3 times myself. What Kevin's trying to do is to reach out to the area past Norwalk to bring in these amazing Broadway and Grammy Award-winning stars and introduce them to people up here in Connecticut without people having to drive in to the city and pay all that transportation and parking, whatever, and see those same stars right here up close and personal in
Mhm.
Norwalk, Connecticut.
I know. I mean, I'm from Waterbury, Connecticut originally. Hi, Waterbury. Come see
Mhm.
my show on the 23rd. Um, always put in the plug. But
Absolutely.
if I lived up there still, I mean, I would be at every single one of these shows. I mean, the level of talent that's going to be on that stage this year in particular, every year you book great people, but this year in particular, and I'm thrilled to be with David Mayoko this year. He and I have both done our solo shows up there, but because we worked recently in Puerto Vallarta, we're going to bring that show to you guys. But tell me about our first act that's coming up in just a couple days. I'd really want to kind of help them sell this show if we can as soon as possible because it's an amazing show, I'm sure.
Well, Christina Andreas with her husband Martin Silvestri are an amazing duo.
Mm.
She's a major Broadway star. She created roles in The Scarlet Pimpernel. She's been on Broadway and as Eliza Doolittle in My Fair Lady, in La Cage aux Folles, the revival of that is Jacqueline. I can't even mention all the things she's done. She's performed at Carnegie Hall, numerous recordings, one of the most incredible voices.
Truly, really
One of my
gorgeous.
favorite renditions of La Vie en Rose. She's got a great Edith Piaf show. Also, I just always sang along with her to Storybook from The Scarlet Pimpernel. I just
Mhm.
would sing along with her all the time. She didn't know that yet. And she's a lovely, lovely human being. And then Martin is just an incredible composer and pianist, and he plays for her, and he's a Grammy Award winner. And they're always selling out at 54 Below, and they have agreed to come and do their show for us here in little old Norwalk, Connecticut, where I was born, by the way. This is my hometown. It's so bizarre that I'm up here again. And Martin and Christina make their home in Danbury, Connecticut, so not too far away.
That's awesome.
So I would love to have that place. You know, I've said this to Kevin. I feel like it's if you build it, they will come. A lot of these people that come to see the shows are not aware of the caliber of talent they're getting, not only in the cabaret series, but in the main stage series. If people read the bios, which sadly they often don't do, they would be shocked to realize just how amazing the talent is that comes
And the
to.
good work that you do, you mentioned educational work. So your ticket prices, your money goes to these amazing programs and offset expenses of producing the shows, of course. So if anybody out there kind of wants to sponsor one of these shows, just contact the theater and say, hey, I'd like to sponsor Billy Stritch and Sally Mays and make a
Absolutely.
donation. That would be really, really welcome and really wonderful because as we all know, all these programs are being cut in the arts across the United States.
Absolutely.
And we need it now more than ever in terms of our souls and our hearts, in terms of music, in all of our lives. So then Sally and Billy are two of my favorite people on the planet. Now, Billy could be there by himself, but
Yeah,
you
they both,
get two
yeah.
for one. You get two Broadway stars, the incomparable Billy Stritch, the incomparable Sally Mays. That's a show I certainly wouldn't miss, and I might actually even travel up. I'll do a carpool. I can bring
So
three other
listen,
people.
you should, by the way, Norwalk, Connecticut from New York is an hour on
I
Metro
know.
North.
Yeah.
And if you're a senior citizen, it's an $8 train ride. If you're a regular citizen, it's like I think it's a $16. The round trip, it would end up being about 27 bucks. And it's super easy.
Yeah, I did want to mention that the train's not too far from there. And then, if you want to come up and come see
Very
the show.
close.
Yeah.
Yeah, the closest train station to Music Theater Connecticut is East Norwalk train station, and I think it's maybe an $8 Uber ride from there. So it's super easy to get there, and great restaurants all around there. But it's very very honestly, so many people that live up here. They live Stamford, Norwalk, Westport, travel into the city every day to do a Broadway show. So
Well, that's
it's
what
totally
doesn't make sense to me. I mean, if I were up there, like I said, I'd be at every single one of these shows. I'd be the first one to buy a ticket because to not have to go into the city to see a show and get this
yeah,
caliber of
yeah.
performance. And then Frank is a known entity up there. Frank's amazing. And then Craig Rubano's bringing his highly acclaimed show to
I
you.
love this
It won
show.
everything and the
Take
reviews
a
were
moment.
off the hook. Yeah.
Yeah, I love this show. And just a sidebar Craig the next morning will be preaching at Unity Center of Norwalk. So
Yeah.
we managed to pull that together, and which was just wonderful. But yeah, it's such an inspiring show. You know who did another show, who performed for us a couple of years ago with one of my most inspiring shows as well was David Sabella,
Yes.
his cabaret show, his about being in cabaret. I personally love the journey shows.
Yes.
I love hearing, and Craig's got such an interesting journey from being a Broadway star to being interested in theology to becoming a minister to coming back to cabaret. It's just
And how beautifully
inspiring.
welcomed he was. We all missed him so much because that voice
Yeah,
is extraordinary. But to have that journey and then come back and be well received again warmed my heart. I saw the show in the very beginning and I've actually seen it three times. It's a great show.
it's
And
terrific.
then, I'm not a Broadway star, but my
You're a
show's called This Broad's
star.
Way, and it's played Crazy Coqs in London. It's played Act Two in Mexico, and it's
Well,
gotten
you can
legs.
let me brag about you. You can let me brag about
I
you.
was going to brag. I was just going to tell you the
Honestly,
concept of the show.
no, I mean you're one of the cabaret luminaries, and not to mention author of So You Want to Be in Cabaret, the book that you co-wrote with, I believe, David Sabella. Jeff Harner's on the cover of it. You know how to do this business, and you're an amazing vocalist. Still some of my favorite jazz recordings. I say jazz because I'm not a big jazz fan,
I
but
call myself cabaret jazz anyway. I
cabaret
don't
jazz.
consider.
I like that because I like cabaret jazz.
Yeah.
I like jazz, but I'm not into the crazy, all the, well, I shouldn't say
The
anything.
math jazz. I know. I call it the math jazz. So that you have to be so sophisticated to
I
understand.
know. I was like, oh my God, where are we? But you guys, you do a beautiful show on your own, and David Mayeko does a beautiful show on his own, and together, I'm sure you're going to be just
We're going to be
incredible.
featuring David, though. So all the things that you like about David playing his Liberace, and we have a special guest coming up from Mexico that's going to sit in for a couple numbers. David's
Nice.
partner, Kate Valchik, who's
Good.
amazing. She's going to do a couple numbers and a couple duets with me. But David will be doing The concept is Broadway songs done our way, obviously, this Broad's way. But David is also going to be doing what David does. He's going to do like his Broadway boogie woogie and a Broadway mashup. So he's a co-star in the show, not just my musical director.
Yes, I know. Yeah, it's perfect. It's
So
perfect.
tell me about what it's like working for Kevin, and Jim Schilling is the other person that is running the theater with Kevin. Yes, they're mensches. I mean, they really love the arts, the two of them.
Well, so
Yes,
just so you know, I don't work for them. I am helping them. This is
helping them.
me doing
Okay.
this. I'm definitely not working for them. This this is all gratis. I need to be working on my own career, but I just want the theater to thrive, and I want cabaret artists to have a place to do their art. It's the same thing as when I was running the concert series at Tudor City Greens. Honestly, and also as the entertainment chair of the Dutch Street Club,
Mhm.
I spend hours every week on these volunteer commitments that I'm going. I need to be working on
At the
my
expense of your own career, I know.
my own career.
I know.
Between that and dog rescue, people think that's all I do. It's like no, I actually do still perform. So it can be a challenge, but I truly want a cabaret venue to survive,
Yes.
and I want for the artists and for the theater. So, for example, Kevin and Jimmy took over the rest of the building at the Music Theatre of Connecticut there at 509 Westport Avenue. It used to be like I think a nursery school or something in the beginning. Well, they took it over and they've been waiting to break through and create a brand new space,
Mhm.
a new cabaret space and theater space, which is where Hot Summer Nights was supposed to go this year, but it's behind so much because of funding and whatnot, which is why they're really, anybody who wants to sponsor a show, that would be great. And it is
But
also,
also, all the more reason to make a donation if you want this to
yeah,
happen, especially
yeah.
those of you who are watching this are mostly singers and cabaret people. I know that. So, if you want a future up there, or if you want to be considered for a show like this, show your support. I
And
mean, this isn't a
especially,
telethon or anything, but
well,
it's
no,
such a great series.
even just spreading the word and sharing this information, because once the new space is done, then it's going to work more like a typical cabaret venue where it's going to, I assume because I'm not the owners of this venue, but I assume it'll be more like, a percentage of the door and whatnot. The Hot Summer Nights is a specific thing where they're bringing the performer in and doing a guarantee, so they have to make sure that there's going to be enough coming in to cover that guarantee.
Mhm.
Whereas once we have the new space, again, it's just another, there's so many places have closed in this city.
And
That
just so you know, we do two-act shows. So there's, for those of you who need a little break in between to go get a cocktail or something else, we do like a 50-minute set, and then there's a little break, like a 10-minute break, and then we do like a
Yeah,
40-minute set. So
yeah.
it's an awesome evening. It
Yeah,
really is.
it's nice. I actually like that. When I've done my shows there, when I most recently, what did I do last? I did a different show, but 2 years ago I did my Jerome Kern show there. And they want it to be in two acts because they want people to have a break. And I like that. Well, it gave me the opportunity to add in two new Kern songs that I'd want to. So it gave me an act one closer, and I got to come on with a fun act two opener, which was just a blast
Yeah.
with John Weber. We created an entr'acte. It was wonderful. So it gives the artists an opportunity to expand a little bit and to play around. And they're such friendly audiences
Oh, the
too.
audience is amazing. They're
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah. Like I'm excited for Sally Mae as well when she comes up because she said to me, "What do you want me to do?" And I was like, one of the things that got me inspired to get started again and to come up with another cabaret show because I don't do them every year. I honestly have only done, I think, four cabaret shows. Believe it or not, I've done It's Possible, Putting Things Away, the Jerome Kern show, and I did 3 Decades in the Dark with Kenneth.
And you've also
That's it.
recorded a couple of CDs in
Yeah,
between
but I'm
them. So,
saying I'm not somebody who does a brand
yeah.
new cabaret show every 6 months or every year. So I'm working on a brand new one right now. And I did something up here at Music Theatre Connecticut last year that I'm playing around with Sally Mae's, maybe hopefully directing it to bring something into the city after I do my next one that I've been planning for 7 years. 7 years in my brain. But doing all these commitments keeps me from finishing my own work, quite frankly. But it's worth it because this is important to maintain this
Yeah.
art form and the places to do it. But anyway, Sally Mays did a show at the Depot Theater a couple of years ago, and it was so much fun because she was explaining, how she got started, and like I seem to recall that like one of her first pianists for a Broadway show audition was John Kander himself.
Right, right.
And I was like, wow. And the stories that these people have are so inspiring. And even if you are not a cabaret artist yourself, if you are an accountant or a homemaker or a lawyer, people come up to you afterwards and say, I always felt that same thing, but I just didn't know how to express it. And that's
Right.
how important this was to me to hear you sing about this because
That's
I
what the
felt the
beauty of
same way.
cabaret is, the intimacy of sharing stories and singing for people rather than at people.
Yeah,
You
you're
know,
breaking
it's
that
it's a
fourth
different
wall.
thing when you have that fourth wall and you're on stage and you're singing at people in a
Yeah,
part as a role, but it's so much different when you have to strip that down and be yourself and share
yeah,
this kind of intimacy. So it's really
yeah.
important.
Really, the audience is a character in your show when you're doing cabaret, and you can tell the people that want to be involved and those who don't want to be involved. You're like, well, I'll look the other way right now. Kind of thing.
Or cell phones. Yeah, we love the cell phones.
Yes, yes.
So, people, I'm going to have a link, direct link to ticket sales for this entire series right below here. I'm going to have a link to the MTC, which is Musical Theater of Connecticut, theater with the TRE versus
And
TER.
and it's music theater, not musical theater.
Okay, thank you for correcting me on that. I'm looking at it and I realized I said musical. Yes, thank you for that. It's in Norwalk, Connecticut. I'll even put the link to the train station schedule if you want to maybe come up and take a train. But please, please, please consider joining us. Come up and see us. And to everyone in the Connecticut area or environs, um, you can't miss any one of these shows going to be a hit. You can't miss this series. Please join us for Hot Summer Nights. And Raissa, thank you so much for joining us and for explaining a little bit. And I promise to have you on very soon, maybe in conjunction with whatever this new show concept is. And when you're ready to go up, we'll do one of these for you because
That
you
would be great.
deserve it, because you are
Thank you, darling.
so giving to all the rest of us that I want to show some love back to you. Thank you for joining us today. I appreciate it.
Well, right back at you. You're the giving one as well, honey. Thank you. And I love you. And I will see you soon.
Yes, we will.
Okay.
Well, actually, we will very soon.
Yes. Yes.
Till next time
Okay.
on Nightlife Exchange, everyone.